pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Tim. First thing on the agenda, the minutes, January 11th. Questions, comments? Yes.
I would just like to have the minutes reflect that under item number 4, it says Gary voted against. If a brief explanation, I think, could be nice. And maybe it's just me, but the reason why I voted no was because I felt that we could have had an emergency meeting of the Select Board, and that way we would have all had an opportunity to hear. I mean, and I don't think that we all couldn't have made a meeting. Because we've had emergency meetings before, haven't we, Shiloh?
You have.
Yeah.
But in that case,
I know the
policy. So
I know what the
feel
policy
it's-
says, but it doesn't say we couldn't have had a meeting. All I'm saying is, I'd just like to have it reflected that that was my concern, that we could have had an emergency meeting, that's all.
But we did follow the policy.
Oh, yes.
Which
Oh,
stated
yeah.
it wasn't
Yeah.
Shiloh making that decision, because I was in there with it.
Yeah,
for
you two made the
policy.
decision, that's right, yes. Yeah,
Any other comments, questions? Motions? I'll make a motion to accept the minutes, January 11th, 2021.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Does that change? You want me to add that in or as a?
I don't.
Motion was made without it. Motion was made without it.
Old business? Yeah, scary.
how's the truck doing? Where's the truck? Is it done?
The one that's being fixed,
That's what you had the meeting about, because it was an emergency, remember? So when's that gonna be ready?
John's not here. I know the guys went to Skowhegan today to pick it up, so I'm assuming it's back and it's done. I did talk to them after they got back, so I don't know how that went, but I'm assuming that part was complete.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else? Police Department. Two things on there, disposition of the cruiser and reserve officer pay rate. Disposition of the cruiser is how we want to get rid of that. Got anything to add to that?
I don't. My thoughts is if we put it out for bid, it's just going to take longer and we'll have to do some more work to take the lettering off. And chances are, the way that the mechanic's looking at it, it's not inspectable. And I'm afraid that someone will probably put it back on the road and it's going to reflect the agency or the town. My thought would be to scrap it at this point.
Dan, our mechanic, called to a couple of scrap yards that do more of the recycling type thing too, to find out how much we could get for it. One of them was $400, another one was $800, and they would come pick it up. So that seemed very reasonable. It doesn't dry, so if we do anything other that somebody's not picking it up, we're going to have to transport it somewhere. So.
Move that we dispose of it for $800.
Motion made and seconded to sell it for $800. All those in favor?
Are you buying it, Shiloh?
No. I am not.
Well, I didn't know if you want to put that in the record of who purchased it and what agency or what.
Next part of that is reserve officer pay rate.
So I was looking at Leavenworth Falls is $1 less than their full-time makes for a part-time reserve officer. Wilton has just increased theirs to $25 an hour for part-time reserve officers. Ours is currently at $16.50. It's hard to find them and have them work. keep them working. They definitely they help out with the budget, reduce the overtime costs when we got some that are willing to work. So I'd like to look at raising people who are academy certified to the full-time academy. I'd like to look at putting them up to $20 an hour. And people who are just reserve certified, I'd like to move them up to $18 an hour. We currently have 2 that fit that area.
So that was a 2-pack, $18 for the reserve officers.
For what we consider green pins, that they're just part-time certified, for $18, and then the blue pins, the full-time certified, to be $20. They can handle more than what the reserve officers can.
Anybody have any questions or comments?
The blue pen, $25 an hour, you said?
20.
20? But we're competing against other agencies that are paying 25.
Correct.
So what's the likelihood that we would get somebody for 20?
Well, I know Wilton only hires select few, so I think we have a good group right now, and I'm hoping that this will encourage them to work more. And hopefully will encourage more to come on.
Okay. Move the requested amounts for the reserve officer and then the blue pin officer.
Motion made and seconded to move the reserve officers $16.50 to $18 and the blue pin to $20.
Good luck. Good luck.
Thank you.
All those in favor? Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Municipal building generator, which has been going around for a few years. Would you say the energy audit would be the best thing to have first before even?
Well, so there's kind of 2 parts to this conversation. One is the generator that, as Terry said, we've been having issues with for several years. Richard's been involved with those conversations. The cost to fix it is around $2,300, and that's kind of a hopeful fix. They've done as much testing as they can to think they know what's wrong with it, and so if we fix that, they hope that it will be the right part and that it will continue to run. We've also had the mechanic has been involved with it, John, Mark, everybody's pretty much had the hand in trying to figure out what to do with this. So I think the consensus is we're just going to continue dumping money into it. It's an old generator, and if the board is willing to look at replacing it, that's what we would recommend doing. Sending out requests to however many places you want us to get requests from for a cost to replace it, have them come look at it, size it according to, we've got the information from CMP on our peak usage. They actually gave us a year's worth of data every 15 minutes of what we're using, so it's like 1,000 pages long. But apparently it's what they need to make their determination on what we need, so we would make that available to them and have them, tell us what we need for a size and a price to do that. And then the other piece of that is looking at an energy audit for the building. I don't think the generator really has to hold off on the energy audit, because ultimately if we were able to convert some of our lighting or our heat source or anything like that, the worst case would be that our generator would be oversized for what we actually needed if we could find a way to make a lesser load. But I think that might take some time, so I wouldn't necessarily wait on the generator for that. The energy audit, I've talked to several different people to try to find out how that process actually works, and Efficiency Maine has on their website a list of contractors, certified contractors that they recommend you go through and look at. Each one has like a different category that they're certified in or that their expertise is in, and you can pick as many of those categories as you want, and it will tell you which contractors deal with that. So their suggestion is to pick 4 or 5 and talk to them about doing an energy audit, get information from them on what they can do for you, and then after that, they give you a recommendation of things that could be done, what kind of savings that could entail.
Good. Questions?
How do we presently heat the building?
Propane, the heating units are on
Propane.
the roof of the building, and we went through this last year, was it? That if you remember that, so on the PD
Yeah.
side, the heating unit died like in December, maybe January. And we ended up having to replace some components of that, and they said, you're reaching end of life on, there's 3 units on up there, reaching the end of life on those units, so we think it would be a good time to have that done so that we have a plan in place so that we're not panicking if it dies in February, then what do we do?
The reason why I ask is I was wondering the feasibility of heat pumps, because that would give you central heat, plus it would give you central air, and I didn't know if that might be a benefit, or is that something that we might want to look into?
And we've talked about that, but none of us are really energy experts, so we don't know enough about it, so we thought if we had an audit done by somebody that was aware of heat pumps, was aware of like the HVAC systems like we have, they could look at the different options and give us a recommendation too.
Yeah. No, I would just suggest to look into it.
Yeah.
And to
Yeah.
have somebody give you, because there's different size of heat pumps, and be
Right.
depending on what you want and what you're trying to heat, so.
Right.
And there's a number of companies out there that install those as well, so. Just a suggestion.
Yeah.
So you have a list of companies you'd be willing to receive that do an energy audit?
On Efficiency's Maine's website, they have a list of contractors that are, I think certified is the wrong word, but that's the basic concept behind it, that they are familiar with this. And the girl at Efficiency Maine that I talked to said that they're familiar also with the incentives that are available for making some of those conversions. They have one right now, Efficiency Maine does, that would pay for, I think, 90% of your lighting conversion, but it's only for towns less than 4,000. So we don't fit that category. I was very excited until she told me the rest of it. And I'm like, thanks for nothing.
Good. So really, we're looking at 2 things, whether to go out for bids on the generator, then the energy audit. Does anybody have any other questions or comments?
Move that we proceed in the investigation on both fronts, the generators and the energy audit.
So on the generator, would you like bids, and how many different companies would you like us to contact? Do you have a
3 at
preference?
least, right?
Well, you'd have to do the energy audit first to determine the size of the generator that you're looking for, wouldn't you, or not?
No, we have all the information,
For the-
like I
for
said,
the
from
size?
CMP that we can give to the people that do the generators so they could size it
Okay,
appropriately.
yeah.
If we did the energy audit after and ended up converting stuff and not needed as much energy, your generator may be oversized, but I don't think it's going to be significant, and I think that getting a generator that works in would be better
And it's only used in events of emergencies anyway, right? I mean,
when the power goes off.
yeah, and you use it once in a while just to make sure it continues to run properly.
Right, they test it once a month now, because this
Yeah.
is what we ran into originally, is
Yeah.
it's supposed to self-start, but it's an older generator, and
Yeah.
it doesn't alarm you if it's not self-starting, unless the power goes out, then you realize you have no backup generator. So right now, it won't work unless the mechanic goes down and hot wires it.
Wow.
So it won't come on right now at all,
Oh, okay.
so.
I would say 3.
Yeah, minimum, yeah. Unless there's others out there that want to bid on it, you know.
Yeah, and I think we had, just in-house, we've come up with 4 or 5 that
No,
other people have
right.
dealt with, so
Yeah.
we can get several.
Yeah, okay.
Did we second that? Second. Motion made and seconded. All those in favor? Town revaluation schedule.
So the energy audit, you want the same, contact at least 3 and see what we can get for pricing. I don't know if they do the energy audit. Some companies do the energy audit for free, but then it's kind of expected that you're going to convert with them as well. So I don't really know what that process is, so we'll explore it and get at least 3.
Yeah.
I'm speaking
You're going to do that through Efficiency Maine because they have a list of them? Or?
there. Yep.
Right, we'll use their list.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Town revaluation schedule. I believe everybody's read what we want to delay it to April 1st, 2023. My only question is, will it cost us more in 2023 than it would now?
No, sir. It'll be the same price as this year. Just simply, rather than committing with our reevaluation numbers this year, just asking us to delay that for 2 years. Let's get through the digester recovery now. Let's swap for Sun and Spirit. It'll take 3 years for that to fully come around so we can realize our benefits. But to do the reevaluation this year, in light of what happened last year, I recommend let's wait 2 years.
It's going to take that long, right, to get through everything over there, whatever's going on in this, right now with the virus and everything too. So I have no problem with that. Anybody else have a question or concern?
Well, I was concerned that, and I haven't had a chance to talk to you about it, but I was concerned about it. It means the valuation is going to stay the same for 12 years. And then when you do the reval in 2 years instead of now, it'll be for what, 8 years? You see what I'm saying?
No,
Or you do it every 10 years? Is that what you do?
To do it every 10 years would be ideal. The last time we had a full comprehensive reevaluation where we went house to house to house was in 2006. We did a valuation update in 2014, but that was a systematic update where I only visited all of the properties that sold.
Yep.
And we created new schedules. However, what we're talking about here that I want to delay is where we go house to house to house. I'm just asking the board to please, let's plug in the numbers as a result of that in 2023 instead of 2021.
I think it's a good idea. Anybody else got any questions, comments? I'll make a motion, we delay the town revaluation schedule to April 1st, 2023.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor? Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Delinquent tax rates. I was thinking last year that the state's top was like 9%, 9%.
It was 8. They were 8 last year. Yep.
Now, as everybody can see there, 6 is the max. Anybody got any questions, comments, or what we want to send? We have to send a set percentage that we want to charge for us. And we go as low as 4.
It's actually, so where it says 4 to 6, it's really not, you could be between 4 and 6. The state set it at 4, but because 4 is more than 2 points below 8, which it was last year, then towns can actually go up to 6%. So our max is 6%. You can set it as low as you want, but I would caution doing that because our revenue is also based on this money coming in. So if we adjust it a lot here, we're going to need to adjust it on the budget side of it as well.
So there's that much in the way of delinquent taxes that we actually budget for it?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I don't have my budget book with me, so I can't tell you how much it is, but yeah,
Okay.
we budget revenues for
Yeah.
taxes on interest.
Okay, so I make a motion that we go with the 6% maximum rate for delinquency tax rate.
Motion made and seconded, go with the 6% delinquent tax rate. All those in favor? Update on foreclosed taxes and sewer.
So that one really is just the fact that we usually give the people after the foreclosure date, the board typically gives them 30 days to pay everything in full, which is the 3 years worth. And I just need to know that whether you still want to do that or not, just because we're telling people you have until March 1st,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah, that would be good.
They have till March 1st to pay, and if they're not paid by March 1st, whether we give them that 30 days to pay in full or not.
So, I'm sorry, the foreclosure on February.
February 1st. March 1st is the date.
March 1st
Date-
is the date,
date
the 30 days.
Yeah.
Yes.
I knew there was a March 1st.
Yeah.
February 1st is the date of foreclosure. Sorry.
I thought it was too. Any questions, comments?
Right now, we've got 25-ish, I think we have. Some are sewer and taxes, but about 25 different property owners, which there won't be that many by the time February 1st comes, because we know some of them are paying. We're still reaching out to some of them to encourage them to.
And the foreclosures for the previous year or the previous 3 years?
It's foreclosing on the third year back.
On
So
the
they
third.
really only have to pay that year as long as they pay by February 1st. But if they don't pay by February 1st, in the next 30 days, the board has typically let them pay all 3 years so that it brings it up to date and we don't foreclose them.
Okay.
That's at the discretion of the board, so.
Any other questions?
You're looking for a foreclosure date?
No, just whether you want to allow them to pay in full within that 30-day period.
So moved.
Motion made and seconded to let them pay in that 30-day period. All those in favor? Spirit of America nominations. Anybody have any people, I think?
Yeah, I did, Paul Gilbert suggested the Tri-Town Food Pantry as one that could be considered. Sent an email.
Which is a good one. Actually, they do a lot for the area.
Is it Tri-Town Ministry or Tri-Town Pantry?
I meant to look it up earlier today and forgot.
It's Georgetown
I sent the
Municipal.
budget book either. Do you know what it is now?
One that Ray Bryant.
Yeah, the Great Ryan.
Georgetown
Yeah.
Municipal.
Anybody else got any they would like to add or?
It's pretty good.
Yeah, you need a motion on that to,
Just-
for the Tri-Town Ministry to receive the Spirit of America
Yeah.
Award? So moved.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
I'll put together like what we've done before was like a resolution from the board, and I'll have that for an upcoming meeting that we'll see if Ray wants to come and it can be presented to him. Or maybe even at your budget meeting, that next budget meeting, that might be quick. That would be next week, never mind. Again, I said that.
All right.
That's really quick. For
Other
a future
business?
meeting.
Anybody have anything on the business? I'd just like to say how quick and good the budget meeting went the other day. I think everybody did a good job in that. Doing a budget, how keeping it below last year's. Nothing else, I'll go through the dates. February 1st, we're going to have a budget meeting at 5, right here in this gym. February 3rd, there's a rec meeting at 6 at the town office. February 8th, select board meeting 6, right here. February 22nd, select board meeting in the gym. March 1st, nomination papers due back to town office. March 8th, public hearing on warrant, 6 o'clock, right here. March 26th, absentee ballots available for the town meeting vote. April 27th, town meeting vote.
Sorry, I didn't look at my notes before, but when we were talking about the police car and getting rid of, disposing of that, I was supposed to mention too, if the board would be willing to put the money that they get from that into Richard's capital account for his return. That's,
Make a motion to put that money into Richard's capital account. Second.
Motion made and seconded, put the money into police.
not that it's huge, but if the
All
board
those
doesn't-
in favor?
Thank you.
Now, I think nothing else. We'll go into executive
Right,
session.
I move we go into executive session and Mass Title 1, Chapter 13, Section 405, Subsection 6D, union negotiations.
Thank you, Paul.